You have to quantify. It's the first time
Here's
I did it.
my
It's been an hour and a half, you lunatic. It was... Yeah. When you said it, I was like, why did I? I was like, mate, I was actually itchy.
This podcast is a pile of...
Yeah, the whole thing's a lie. There's no punt pod. So we're gonna it's gonna be some fun,
right?
Thrown in with some strategy.
I would listen to it because, like I just said, Bet365. I just went, It probably showed up on a Facebook thing.
Yeah,
a sponsored ad.
They're like, Conor McGregor's fighting such and such.
Or
whoever.
It would be really important to hear, because it turns out there's professional guys like yourself doing this stuff all the time, and more to the point, thinking about it way more than all of us.
Yeah.
So,
so that's what we're...
let's fast forward. The Punt Pod it's 2 years. It's been going. You've done 200 episodes. It's going so well, just like the Joe Rogan podcast, where they talk so much about fighting that in the fighters' world, they grab snippets of his podcast and go, "Oh my God, did you hear about this?" And it actually sort of affects what people think about the actual fight that's about to happen.
Right.
Just from what these experts have been talking about.
Yeah.
There's every chance that your podcast may change betting from guys who've been doing a show so long, and only the words you speak will affect the punter.
Well, they will. They'll affect markets for sure. If I say...
Well, I'm going to bet the fucking underdog. How about that?
Yeah. I don't care what this guy says. Yeah. It will. If I have a good track record, which I know personally I do at the moment, but after it's in the public eye, people are going to start following the plays, and the weight of money will start changing the odds.
It'd be really interesting.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So,
because I'm overanalyzing, but you may be sitting on something that you have just bet on. You may not reveal it, but if you do reveal it, then I'll remember what you say and know if you picked up from that. So people will start to listen to your own thing, and analyze whether you actually. Oh my God, this is a great scoop. You know what I'm saying?
Not really, but go again.
Okay, you and
Rob. Yeah, Roberto.
Right. What's his last name?
It's Minchinton, but
lovely.
Everyone calls him Mingo.
Mingo, that's so exotic. Just say
you're Mac and Mingo on the punt board.
Yeah. You may be steering a conversation towards over here, this is going to win, this is going to win.
Mm.
Oh my God, what if it does win all the time?
Right.
People get on board. What if it doesn't win?
Right, yeah. Well, that's what we're going to have to deal with.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. It's...
I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Whether you reveal your cards is what I'm really getting at.
We will. We absolutely will. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a whole lot of fun and drinking and just chatting sport and just things that are happening. The US Open was just on in the golf. We're going to chat about that. If the NFL's coming out, we're going to talk about that. If there's the summer's coming up for the Australian cricket, we're going to talk about that, or a new tour. They're going to tour in Bangladesh soon. We'll talk about that. So we're going to talk about all the things that are happening in sport, all the interesting things that people want to talk about in sport. But then also on top of that, we're going to find some angles in terms of some interesting bets and chat about some things that in the betting industry that are happening in the current landscape. So, yeah, we will be giving plays, and we'll have a profit and loss, and we're going to live and die by that profit and loss. So it'll be
that's cool. That's very cool.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be really fun. I do something like that already at the moment, but at a much smaller scale. I started a Facebook group because I had about when I went pro, so to speak, betting sport. I had about 15 mates that would just constantly message me every weekend and go, "What are you betting on? What are you betting on?" I just got so sick of it. I was just like, look, I'll just start this little Facebook group. I'll add you guys in there. I'll put the plays in there. And I think, I quoted off lock stock or something. He's like, if I give the dog a fucking bone, I don't want to know how it tastes, you know. And the same sort of thing. I was just like, I don't want to know whether it wins or loses or whether you're happy or not, because long term, I know that I'm profitable. I don't want to hear about it. I'll just tell you the plays. If you back them, you back them. If you don't, you don't. Well, that group went from 15 people to 970 people, right? So I just constantly, they would just say, can I just add a mate? Can I add a mate? Can I add a mate? And it just went just gangbusters until we ended up with a bunch of bookmakers that were in there. Now, we didn't know initially that bookmakers had ended up weaseling their way in there, but we did find out when accounts started getting closed. So people that were in there that were betting on the plays that I had posted were having their accounts closed with those bookmakers instantly before the bet was even placed. So they'd gone in there to try and they'd found this group that was all profitable. I mean, we were making like quite good money. So they were just like, well, we don't want to pay these people out, so we're going to close their accounts, and they're allowed to do that in Australia. So I ended up saying, well, we know that you guys are in here, you know, there's only one way to kill a rat, and that's put it down sort of thing. And then, bang, it just purged itself down from like 980 people or something down to 900 in the space of 4 or 5 hours, because I was like, we're going to find out who you are, you know, reveal yourself, get the fuck out, because we don't want you in here. And then once we got rid of them, it was just kind of like, it was really the confirmation that I needed. They were definitely in there. I was kind of playing a little bit. I was like, I thought they were in there, but I wasn't 100% sure. But then when we lost so many, I was like, you filthy pricks, you know. So then I've just started a whole new little Facebook group. And there's basically, I said, if I don't know you or you don't come recommended by the first 15 mates that I had when I started this whole thing, you're not allowed into this group. So now we've got like 220 or something, and I've never met, like, you know, 205 of these people I've never met in my life from all around Australia. I think there's a couple from even outside of Australia, and they're all just following my plays. And it's can
you reveal the name now, or should
of the Facebook group? Or? Yeah,
this is worldwide.
It's a stupid name though. I'll have to read it out. It's like Max. It's just no stupid name.
Ass Rammers.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because it's just a dumb name. I don't even know why I call. Oh, well, I do know. It's all got meaning.
To be mysterious too.
It's Max Sports Death Rides Betfair and Share Trading Special featuring Greeny Rorts, and that has.
Wow. I'll never find that. Thanks.
So stupid. It's funny to me, but like nobody else gets why it's in there. But yeah. Anyway, I've got a little Twitter for Punt Pod, so you can just find at Punt Pod and or at Lukey Mac Returns. You can find me there. And look, pretty much most of the things that are going to go in that group are going to go on the Punt Pod anyway, and then we're going to see how it goes. You know, it'll be a bit of fun.
And what's this thing on? I remember seeing on Facebook you're playing with the software.
Yeah,
you're revealing some.
That's where I buy and sell prices live in play. So it's I
remember you were starting from a baseline, and every month or something you'd reveal, and you started to get like some.
Was that no? That was my blog. Was it?
I don't know. I remember seeing a graph.
Yeah, that was my blog.
Was it?
Yeah, so when I turned pro for sports, I did the same thing that I did with poker. When I went pro with poker, I started a blog, and I blogged with warts and all my wins, all my losses, absolutely every single one. And the reason I did that was just for accountability. It was because, and it's the same sort of thing with what I said with Greg Raymer, the fossil man, I didn't want to look like a dickhead. You know, so I wanted to play the best poker that I could. So when I posted my graph for the next week for, you know, like out to my friends and my family and put it on 2+2 forum, I was like, you know, I've progressed. I've done well. And in those sessions, in those solitary moments when you're playing online poker by yourself, you didn't make those stupid moves, because when you posted your graph at the end of the week or the month, you didn't want to look like a dickhead because you played this hand like a maniac, you know. So it really kept you accountable and kept you on track. And because that had worked for me, that platform in the past, when I went pro as a sports bettor, I did the same thing. And that's what you would have seen. We're friends on Facebook, and I was posting it just to my friends on Facebook and family and on Twitter. And blew up. I was getting, it was going quite good. And it got to the end of a year, basically, the first year, and the blog's still up, but it got to the end of the first year where I was posting exactly how much money I had made to the cent. Right? I did not miss a single cent. And I got to the end of it.
You didn't scratch your face then too. I believe you.
It's true. It's 100% true. I didn't miss a single cent, and yes. I didn't want to. I didn't want to continue on that at the start of year 2 because it wasn't important to me anymore. It was important to me to be accountable initially, and I think there's probably a few reasons. I think some family members of mine were kind of like, what's this guy doing? He could be doing anything.
Yeah, well,
he could be.
Every other gambler can tell you whatever they want.
Oh,
it could be, but they could be down at
totally
cash converters.
Exactly,
the day
exactly. And I think there was a little bit of that, and so it was a little bit of kind of, hey, here it is, open book, 100% my feelings. Some of my worst losses I wrote about in that blog where I was in tears on the ground, emotional, going I've done my bollocks, it's not a great feeling at all. But I got to the end of that year and I had a great year. I was very profitable, and at that point I was like, you know what? I've been accountable to myself. I've been accountable to everyone. I've had a great year, and there's no real need for me now to go on actually explaining how much I've made. It wasn't really the important thing anymore. And I probably will pick up the blog again eventually one day, and I've written a few things in there since. Been on a few trips away with my beautiful partner Beck. We've been away on some holidays and stuff, and written about that, and been away punting, and it still relates to the punting side of things, but
the podcast will take over
exactly
the written.
That's it. I think that's what's going to happen. Is we're just going to get into a spoken thing, and we're going to just have some fun. Robbie, who I'm going to do the podcast with, he's a fucking legend. He's great. We get on really well, and he loves his sport, and it's going to be excellent. And he loves a punt, and it's going to be great. So we're really looking forward to it.
It's just come to mind. What's the story with the last time I read about? There was a very famous case about a guy who was being invited to the Crown Casino. He lost a lot of money, but his argument was that Crown had invited him here and flown him in, and
he tried to sue them, right?
Yeah,
it didn't work.
Yeah, but does that ever happen in the?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Comps with bookmakers, with casinos. You get flown in. Absolutely. The big punters, the guys that turn over the big money. You get comps. You get looked after. Absolutely.
It's such a weird idea because it's obvious they want you to lose.
Yeah, that's it.
It's so obvious. Yeah, please, Mr. Johnson, come on in. Yeah, we love you. You're going to do great. You're going to do great. Please fucking lose.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it is. Yeah, you're right. I think probably deep down those people know that they're going to lose anyway. So it's like, we might as well get something for it, Okay. So, but only the big losers get those sort of lurks and perks, really. Well, to be fair, actually, I must say that I do get looked after with one place that I bet with, even though I'm profitable, and that's a betting exchange where it's peer to peer. I'd sort of mentioned that earlier. So,
what does that really mean, though?
Well, it means okay, let's say that in the example where you think Conor McGregor might beat him, right? And you think you want to back him at $6, and I think, well, I don't think it's a $6 shot. I think it's a $10 shot. I'll hold your bet. Well, actually, Betfair, which is the betting exchange, will hold the bet in escrow. So let's say you have $10 on it, $6, right? So you're going to win $50 if he wins, lose $10 if he loses, right? And I say, well, no, I actually will oppose Drew. I don't think that he'll win. I think Floyd will win. I'm willing to put up the $50. So Betfair will hold that in escrow. So they hold my 50, hold your 10. And if he wins, they give you my 50 and your 10 back. And if he loses, they give my 50 and your 10 back to me. So it's peer-to-peer exchange. So you can choose to play bookmaker or you can choose to play punter.
Wow, interesting.
Right. Now, where